Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play of Higurashi Ch.5, 5. Well, at the end of the last chapter, I decided to take a short little break with Resident Evil 2 Remake, and well, long story short, I got my ass kicked quite a lot in that game, but I still had fun with it. So I just now finished that up, and I decided, well, now it's time to get back into Higurashi. So, here we are. So, after taking a whole Let's Play off for this game, I'd certainly had plenty of time to think over the events of the question arcs all the way up till this point. And I also made a series of notes made from a bunch of questions and answers I had with some of you guys on the finale of Chapter 4. So I think I'm pretty much back up to speed with all the important details on what I think might have ended up what I think was happening during the question arcs, for the most part. If not, I got my notes right here, so I can just consult them anytime I need to, which I will try to do frequently, so I'm on top of everything as best I can. So, Chapter 5. First chapter of the so-called answer arcs. So starting from this point, I am certainly expecting to get a lot of questions that I've had from the question arcs, well, answered, hence the name of the arc. And well, as it turns out, one of my viewers let me know this in a comments section, and well, apparently, Chapter 5 is meant to serve as the answer arc for Chapter 2. I mean, I was kind of hoping to figure out what Chapter 5 would end up answering on my own, but I mean, I guess it's kind of good to know at the same time what I'll be in for. But on that note, I also want to get something out of the way first before I get started on everything. Please, please, please try to be careful with whatever information about the story, the game, etc., that you give me in the comments sections if you want to comment on anything at all. I want to avoid spoilers as much as humanly possible. I know that a lot of you guys are certainly passionate about a lot of the aspects of the game's story, and well, I can relate. Believe me. I can get quite passionate about stuff like this too, and get excited about seeing people I like here getting into and trying to analyze really complicated and engaging stories that I also am a fan of. But at the same time, I do want to try to figure out as much of this stuff on as I can on my own, at least the big stuff, without being given really big hints to kind of nudge me along a certain line of thinking. It's more enjoyable that way if I can just come up with most of everything on my own here and then see whether I was on the right track or not, you know? I'm not upset with anybody for revealing this little detail about Chapter 5 with me, but I just want to urge you guys to err on the side of caution from now on, if at all possible. So, with that being said, let me just go ahead and go over my configuration settings real fast. I actually think everything will be okay for now. If not, then I can always mess with the settings later. So okay, let's get started. Let's get some answers. Meakashi, beloved cutthroat. Eye-opening chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi when they cry Kai. You know, that's one thing that immediately caught my attention once I booted this thing up before I ended up modding my copy of Chapter 5, is that there was no ho at the end of the name of Higurashi when they cry, but instead there's a Kai. The store page said that there would be a ho at the end, but this is a Kai. I want my money back! I kid. But yeah, I just thought that was a interesting little detail that I think all Steam and GOG maybe should have been on top of, maybe. So, you know, it's technically more accurate. What the game's called on the store page, I mean. Anyway, continuing on. Sorry for that little tangent. We finally reached the halfway point. From the viewpoint of the protagonist, try to find the truth behind the tragedy that unfolds. The difficulty is very high. It won't be easy to comprehend the motive of the perpetrator. Why, are they kind of kooky in the head or something? Well, I think, well, why am I even asking? Of course I know that they're kooky. I've seen it firsthand through Keiichi's eyes. So I guess we're gonna see through, the eyes of the perpetrator then, huh? The eyes of madness. This is gonna be one hell of a fucking roller coaster, I can tell. Let's do this. She dropped her beads in her beads in the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years the girl searched the sands. They might be in the ocean, not the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years the girl searched the ocean. They might be in the mountains, not the ocean, so the girl cried. How many years will pass before, damn it? This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is entirely coincidental. 7 keys were attached to the keychain. Okay, actually, since we're now in gameplay, I think I can open the debug menu for the mod by pressing F10. Okay, there we go. I want to make sure that the language settings and all that stuff is set exactly the way I want to, so we don't have any censorship at all. So, okay, so 0 is for minimum, which I think I would want if I want completely censored, and 3 is max. So that way it would be censored parts, but there would be no segments where that are unvoiced. So let's see. Alternate SC flow, alternate BGM off, alternate voice matching level. So it's 2. Let me try. Well, I guess there was 2 more levels that I didn't know about. Okay, so we should now be completely uncensored when it comes to the voice priority stuff. So, I think that's all I need to mess with. Uh-oh. So, pressing F10 again opens more. Okay. Good to know, I guess. 7 keys were attached to the keychain. Without knowing which key was the correct one, I had to go by instinct and try every key one by one. Actually, wait, maybe I should restart the game first here, since I now got the quick settings. Yeah, the debug settings done the way I want to, just in case these things won't immediately take effect. And I will have to just restart the thing first. So, hold on a second. Okay, hit start. How many years will pass before the girl wonders if she really dropped them? Federica Berncastel. They really like quoting you in this, don't they? This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is entirely coincidental. Okay, good. It's still it's at 0 now, so I think we're definitely safe. 7 keys were attached to the keychain. Without knowing which key was the correct one, I had to go by instinct and try every key, one by one. On average, I'd reach the correct key within 3.5 attempts. I'd be fortunate if I could open the lock within the first 3 keys. and I'd be unfortunate if I didn't. I had to think of the worst-case scenario. Getting the right key only on the very last attempt. I fought with my nervousness. My head ached from it. So I'm playing as the culprit from Chapter 2, right? And I speculated it was either Shion or Mion, with me leaning more towards Shion. So if that little text at the beginning, right before I hit start, is right here, and then I'm looking at this through the eyes of the perpetrator, that's who our protagonist will be, then, well, I guess I'll get my answers short enough as to who the culprit is, huh? So, let's see it. Who is it? I fought with my nervousness. My head ached from it. I put the key in and turned it. I just needed to repeat that small procedure several more times, but I couldn't stop shaking. Damn. Even a 3-year-old kid can do something this easy. So, am I more childish than a 3-year-old? I don't know. Whatever. I don't care if I'm clumsy. I just need to try all these keys. Even the worst case scenario, the lock will open on the 7th try. Well, there we have it. Shion. So, you were Chapter 2's culprit after all then, huh? And if that's the case, you pretended to be Mion at a couple points. Why, though?
Usso.
There's a lot of questions I gotta ask you, but we'll get to them soon enough, I'm sure. Reality isn't always the same as math. What happened was worse than my worst-case scenario. None of the keys worked at all. Did you, drop your key somewhere? I could feel the blood draining from my brain. Did I get the wrong set of keys? No. I definitely see a faint marking that says that this is set for this door. Am I just reading it wrong? Should I go back to the key cabinet to look for the right one? That would mean a great loss of time. What's the rush? Just by being here, I'm already risking so much. Something that could ruin everything might happen any moment. If I can't open this lock, do I have to go back to the administration office? Are you at the school? In Hinamizawa? There was no other choice. It'd be a waste of time to spend our second here. The administration office wouldn't necessarily be empty at this time. Somebody might come in. I won't be able to look for the right key if that happens. I stood up quickly, as if electrified. I was almost in a panic, and so felt the urge to move. My instinct pushed me. I have to go back there as quickly as possible. It's dangerous to be here, and it's also dangerous if somebody comes into the administration office. I cooled my head, making it as chilly as possible to repress my fear. Calm down, Shion. Mion wouldn't panic in this situation. Maybe I'm just mistaken. Why don't I try the keys one more time? The next moment, I felt a faint vibration in the air. Somebody was walking somewhere in the hallway. If it were a normal situation, I would have known I wouldn't run into them, since the footsteps are very far away. But at the time, I couldn't think calmly. Shit. Why am I panicking this much just because of footsteps? Calm down. Calm down. I should be feeling excited instead. Calm down. Calm down. I just need to do what I have to do. I should ignore the footsteps, because they're not an immediate threat. Pretend they aren't there. I have to listen for something much more important right now. Shit. This key should be hard and cold, but it's pliable and hot. Feels like rubber. How could I stick this into the keyhole? Shit. It wasn't the key that was pliable. It's my fingers that were limp. Shit. The key sprung out of my hand and fell to the floor. It shouldn't have made any sound, because it was so pliable, but it made a tremendous metal noise, as if somebody pushed over a cupboard. Cling. The sound almost stopped my heart. I felt dizzy for a while. I looked around afterwards to carefully see if I caused any disturbance to the surroundings. Calm down. Calm down. Nothing's changed. I don't hear anything. So, am I safe? Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Wait. I don't hear anything? What about those footsteps in the distance? Maybe they just went in the other direction and are now out of earshot. Calm down, calm down, calm down! Are they looking for me after they noticed the sound? Oh, shit. What's that sound I'm hearing? Sounds like a bell to me. Is it my sweat dripping on the floor? Shut up! How could I hear the sound of my sweat? Calm down. Calm down. Calm the fuck down! Please. You're starting to make me concerned. I have to clarify. This isn't a prison or a detention center. It's a private school. Well, it's a school. Not the school I was thinking about, but a school all the same, so I was half right. It's a private school. Not a normal one, though. It costs a fortune just to get in. Well, you are basically a princess of a Yakuza crime family, so... That makes sense why you're there. It's a boarding school that provides education from elementary school to university. all the age ranges, huh? Being for girls only, rather than a school. You could say it's a factory that manufactures ladies. Some of my classmates here have never even used public transportation. Really, it isn't normal. To me, saying how nice to see you instead of just hi is already insane. And calling the teachers sisters gives me the creeps. I hate the morning and evening prayers, to say nothing to the Sunday Mass. Ah, so it's a religious institution, huh? I don't want to memorize the Bible passages, and the Holy Ghost gives me a rash. Well, maybe that means there's something unholy about you, huh, Shion? After all, maybe if you weren't evil, as I'm starting to think that you might actually be, maybe you wouldn't get a rash from the Holy Ghost. If I stayed in this institution, that's what I call the place, for many years, I'd either go crazy or be brainwashed. Most of the girls choose to be brainwashed, but I can't do that. Doesn't brainwashing work by basically underhandedly coercing you to think about a certain thing, or otherwise just using other types of forceful methods to get you to think a certain way about this and that. I'm no expert on brainwashing, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think brainwashing involves a whole lot of consent. At least conscious consent, anyway. After all, I was more impressed by the political schemes and international trade behind religious propagation than by the love of God in which the Bible teaches. Because of that, I'd been treated as a problematic child from the beginning. I experienced lots of disadvantages as a result. I realized that quickly, so I superficially pretended to be normal. However, I got tired of acting, so I started to reveal my true self from time to time. I became a problematic child once again. People started to treat me differently once again. It's fun to misbehave. Not if it involves, brutally torturing and murdering people. That's the kind of misbehaving that nobody can get behind. Least of all me. But it wouldn't do anything for me in the long run. So, why did I act that way? Why, even though I knew it was going to backfire on me later on? Because you're just a rebellious child? Not content with your state of being, your way of life? Either in part or in general? After examining my emotions, I realized that I completely had it with my surroundings. I was afraid of being brainwashed in this institution. I can't live here. I won't let them brainwash me! 6 months ago, I decided to escape this place. The moment I made up my mind, I started to feel alive again. Yeah, well, considering which family you belong to, I'd be pretty damn impressed if you could hide from your family for long, before they found you and just dragged you back home. I acted ladylike in order to deceive the sisters. Pretending became fun once I'd set my goal. It gave me the creeps when they told me with smiles that it was God's influence that I started to behave religiously. I laughed at them behind their backs. I took on my classmates' duties in order to understand the layout of the school and the schedules of the staff and guards. I soon found out that the security of the school was immensely tight, because there were many daughters of important people living there. The guards walked their beat randomly. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. The system that kept out intruders ironically also worked to prevent escapees. But that excited me instead. I simulated how to avoid all the surveillance in my head many times. I drew an escape route in the corner of my notes during class and tested if it worked. I strove to acquire any necessary skills for the escape. It was all fun. After all, the situation was cathartic for me. That's who I am. Will murdering a bunch of people also be cathartic for you? No matter how hard they try to brainwash me, I never change. I've been waiting for the moment of my escape, preparing physically and mentally. First, I needed the courage to escape. I had to be confident of the plan. I had to think deeply about it. I also needed skills and physical strength. I imagined all the possible obstacles and trained myself. It was funny because I was finally able to enjoy gym classes, even the long-distance runs. I needed a perfect plan, as well as the physical strength and skills necessary to execute it. Also, supported by those things, I needed determination. I made sure that I had all I needed and executed the plan. Nothing like a good little bit of tactical espionage. To freedom. I decided to plant a seed in school before the appointed day. The seed was a rumor that one of the male teachers was having a relationship with a student. Well, that'd be, unfortunate if, somebody ended up, getting fired and, whatnot from this whole rumor. I won't go into the details now, but that can turn into an enormous problem in the school. I would hope it turned into a normal problem in any educational institution. The school is limited to girls precisely because their parents want to avoid those kind of problems. Those parents are mostly important people from various positions. If the romance was a fact and leaked to the public, the principal would have to commit suicide in shame. In fact, even that might not be enough. In the world of girls, rumors spread fast. Especially when they're separated from boys and are obsessed with dirty thoughts. So, this kind of rumor goes around really quickly. The sisters try to get rid of that kind of rumor, and they warn the students not to be swayed by it. But apparently, they're the ones who are most swayed by those rumors. This means that I managed to make them furtively deal with something shady, without contacting families or the authorities. So, if I disappeared in these circumstances, it'd look like I ran away with some teacher. All the male teachers would deny it, of course. However, the school wouldn't believe what they said so easily. After all, there's a dirty rumor going around. So, I guess innocent until proven guilty is not exactly something that's practiced in this school very much. Going by what you're saying. By the time the school finds out about my escape, after I eliminate all the other possibilities, I'll be somewhere safe. I tried hard to spread the rumor that I was involved in the forbidden romance as widely as possible. The sisters questioned me a few times, but since the romance was something I'd made up, they couldn't find anything. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find any evidence. After 3 months, I was certain that I created a solid foundation. 3 months. Certainly got dedication, I'll give you that. I swapped after-dinner duties with my classmates so I could adjust my schedule on this day. I was even able to fill them with suspicion about me doing that. Now they'll definitely suspect I ran away with some male teacher. Tonight was the night. I began my chores after dinner. After lights out, somebody will find out about my disappearance. You know, I just had a thought. I don't think you're going to be able to escape for very long before your family or whoever is connected to your family finds you. And if your family ends up thinking that you might be having an inappropriate romance with a teacher, wouldn't that be bad for you? Once they bring you face to face to them and demand to know what the hell's going on. Look, I get it. You're clearly suffocated in your environment, by the environment you're in, but I think you might want to just stop and think if the risks are really worth the effort. I mean, where are you even going to go once you get out? Do you have some kind of plan to take care of yourself? Anywhere to stay? Any way that you can prevent yourself from being easily recognized? Have you thought all this stuff through? My generous roommate would probably wait about 10 minutes before she reported me to his sister, but no longer than that. I had about an hour tops, but that's enough for me. I took a step off my regular route. That was the first step toward my great escape. I calmed down and thought. The key shouldn't be wrong. This lock is old and firm. Isn't it possible that I put the right one in, but the lock was just stiff, and I only thought I got the wrong one? I realized that my nervousness was making me clumsy. The gloves that I'm wearing to avoid leaving fingerprints must be getting in the way too. You don't want to leave any evidence behind, clearly. Would they actually... Well, this is a school full of important people, as you say, so maybe they would use forensic science to look for fingerprints and stuff. I should try the keys one more time. I picked the most probable one and gently inserted into a keyhole. But then again, that's like the door to... That's like the gate to the whole damn school, so a lot of hands touch it. Would the police really be... Well... Fingerprints... The most recent fingerprints will often be on top of a whole bunch of different sets of ones. So, if they can figure out when you left your fingerprints, and then after that figure out when everyone else after you left their fingerprints, maybe then they can deduce the approximate time that you ended up leaving the place. So, yeah, actually they could probably figure out a lot more than I initially thought with fingerprints on this knob. I picked the most probable one and gently inserted it into the keyhole. It's stiff. If I twist it too strongly, I might break the key. The moment I thought of giving up, I felt something in my fingertips. The key worked! Note to self. Keys in this particular institution seem to respond towards feelings of despair and what the hell the word for giving up is, I'm forgetting right now. I slowly opened the door. I could hear the crickets. I don't have to hesitate now. But somehow I'm reluctant to step outside. I can still make excuses up to this point. It might look awkward, but I still can. But if I take a step outside now, there can be no excuse. If the guards find me, they'll take me to the office immediately. There have been escape attempts before. That's not really so strange. I don't think I'm the only heathen here. It's understandable that there have been people before who couldn't fit in this place. So the school is well aware of the possibility of escapees. I heard rumors about what happened to those who were caught while attempting to escape. I don't want to believe any of those stories, though. Why, you telling me they did more than just smack your hands with rulers? You see, all the school's horror stories involve students who attempted escapes. Whatever. Bring it on. I'm not expecting to get a second chance anyway. There'll always be only one chance. Things get serious beyond this door. I psyched myself up and pushed the door open. The strong smell was hanging in the air. Is that normal for the outside? I never smelled this strong grassy smell before. Maybe someone cut the grass earlier. Is there something going on? Do I have to be wary of it? Should I go back and wait for another chance? Silly. There's nothing strange going on. The smell is something I smell every day. I just wasn't aware of it. It's true, isn't it? Even though I pretend to be cool, I'm nothing but a nervous wreck. Certainly fooled me. Calm down. Calm down, Shion. I can only rely on the map inside my head from this point onward. I'd researched locations of all the surveillance cameras. I'm confident I'll be able to avoid all of them, but I'm not sure about the guards. They picked the patrol routes randomly after all. I have to take a chance. I can hide myself in most places, but there's an area where there's nowhere to hide for several meters. You should have brought a cardboard box. I concentrate to keep my senses keen. Well, I have to depend on my luck in the end. Even if I do my best, the guard might find me by mere chance. On the contrary, I might be able to get away no matter how unwisely I choose my move. I choose to move, if I'm lucky. Damn. After all that effort, it just boils down to luck? This is a gamble, after all. Well, I was actually just going to point that out. You're kind of taking a gamble right now, so... When I realized that, I got excited. Yes, this is a gamble. I'm trying my luck. This is a game to test the determination to change my life. If somebody failed to escape from this school, that meant they didn't have enough luck to survive in the real world. But I'm different. I'm going to get out of here. I'm testing my luck. Here goes, Shion. I ignored the noisy bugs and concentrated only on suspicious sounds. I heard no threats. The loudest sound wasn't the bugs. It was my own heartbeat. Crunch. Even my own footsteps were so loud they could break my eardrums. Heel first, then rest of foot. Don't move too quickly. That will really help reduce noise. For each and every step, my overactive imagination tormented me with premonitions of unexpected run-ins with guards. Countless times that torture grew too hard to bear, and I thought of running. But if I broke into a run, the noise I made would only draw suspicion. If anyone heard running at a time and place where people shouldn't be, they would realize something abnormal was happening. But if the footsteps they heard were just walking, then they likely think nothing of it. Of course, I don't plan on even letting them hear those footsteps. Heel first. I tried to extend my senses to get as much information as possible. I don't sense anyone's presence. I might have felt safer if I heard a guard in the distance. I'm worried that my senses might not be keen enough to detect everything. Somebody might be right behind me, without me being aware of it. I didn't want to make any noise, so I stopped from time to time. It's like I'm constantly fidgeting. Stop or to run. Something within me urged me to choose from either one. I can't choose to stop. I have to keep going quickly and stealthily. I'm already risking so much just by being here. Running, of course, would be absurd. I know that. The urge to continue to run continued to bug me. My head was filled with those thoughts as I went through this dangerous territory. I succeeded in passing through without running into anybody. I couldn't help but sit for a moment and exhale the rotten air from my lungs. My negative thoughts vanished quickly. Just a little more to go. Just a little more. Just through that bush over there is the fence that separates this place and the outside world. Once again, I strongly felt the urge to run. I suppressed that desire and carefully tackled the final step. The beautiful-looking fence didn't seem designed to prevent escapes. While I was worried that somebody might see me climbing up the fence, it fortunately didn't happen. Lucky you. It's even possible this fence might have a touch sensor. I forgot those were even a thing. It's too late now. It doesn't mean anything now, since I'm already climbing up. From the top, the fence seemed about 7 feet high. I have to go down carefully, just like when I climbed up. I knew that logically, but I couldn't think that way anymore. I chose to jump off with no hesitation. Of course, I regret my decision during the fall. Did you land on your feet incorrectly? I got scared because the flight was longer than I expected. I didn't land beautifully. I fell onto my butt. Well, at least you'll still be able to walk. But there was nobody around to laugh, and I didn't have time to be embarrassed. I looked around to see if anybody heard my landing. Even the crickets weren't interested in the sound I made. I felt relieved. I looked at my watch. 5 minutes till 8 p.m. It was just a 15-minute escape. Putting a number to it really made it obvious how short it had been. Looking back, most of the time I was just asking myself questions and hesitating. I guess I worried too much. But I can't be too relaxed just yet. There's no guarantee that I fooled all the cameras. This place isn't a bank. There won't be a fire alarm going off even if the guards did see me. It's possible they're rushing this way right now. I can't enjoy the air of freedom yet. I hid myself in the darkness and waited. There's still time left until the rendezvous. Rendezvous? Who are you meeting up with? I watched the school premises while waiting, but it looked like nothing strange was going on. The building was lit up, and the beautiful Western-style architecture made it hard to believe that it was a school. It should be armed with electrifying wires, searchlights, and guard dogs, like the prison it is. Well, you ever heard of gilded cages? I thought I'd experience a surge of school memories in a situation like this, but it didn't happen. That sort of thing only happens when you have good memories. You don't have any good memories of this place, huh? I have no good memories of this school, so there's nothing to remember. But if I could pick a series of images to recall, it'd be the luxurious dinners we had every night. So, my memories would be nothing but internal cuisine. Japanese, Chinese, French, and so on. What the hell? That's just too funny. I burst into laughter. Well, hey, good food is good food. Nothing wrong with that. At that point, I heard a car approaching. I crouched in the darkness. The plate number is the same as I was expecting. That's the car. I jumped down and rushed to the passenger side, then opened the door and got in.
お勤めご苦労様です。シオンさん。
The driver was a man of elderly age. Wait a minute, isn't that your butler? He'd be angry if he heard me say that, though. He still thinks he's middle-aged. He looked at my face and learned that I succeeded. He smiled.
シャバの空気は久しぶり。とにかく今は銀シャリが食いたいかな。
学園では上品なお料理ばかりが出てると聞いてましたが、シオンさんにだけは麦飯が出ていたんですか？
バカ、そんなわけないでしょ。
Don't call your butler a dumbass, Shion.
冗談に決まってるじゃない。ほら、笑ってる暇があったらとっととアクセルを吹かす。
はいはい、 仰せのままに。
Kasai really did laugh out loud. After telling me to buckle up, he accelerated. I'm sorry, but your first act of freedom is to just go and get a burger. That's actually you, of all people. That's actually kind of funny. The cathedral-like school disappeared from the mirror in an instant. It disappeared so quick that I didn't have time for a surge of dinner memories. Goodbye, my lovely school days. Haha! I'm going to fill my stomach with junk food from now on. You might not want to. You'll regret it eventually, I promise. But then again, since you are apparently the culprit for Chapter 2, it'd probably be better if you did die from eating too much junk food. Not that it would matter anyway, because, I mean, well, what's done is done. We're just going to see it all happen from your perspective, I guess. I'll forever be free from the table manners you taught me. Aha! Serves you right. Maybe this is your reason for going on a rampage. You just absolutely had it with the world trying to get you to use proper table manners. When you were eating a burger somewhere and someone told you not to chew with your mouth open, that just made you fucking snap and just cause all of Chapter 2 to happen. As we drove, the scenery began to change. Soon we were surrounded by vast fields of crops and few streetlights. It reminded me that this was just the countryside of Japan, not Europe.
お腹は空いてないですか?
I'm pretty sure that she is hungry, considering that she did ask, hey, could we go for a burger?
どこか飯の食えるところへ寄りましょうか。
食事してるからいい。
Never mind. I lied. I'm actually a bit hungry. I didn't eat much at dinner to avoid slowing myself down with a full stomach. I appreciated Kasai's offer, but I didn't feel like taking the time to eat while we were still in enemy territory.
この時間ですから、高速に上がってしまうとサービスエリアへ寄っても自販機しかないですよ。まあ、最近はハンバーガーとかの自販機もありますけどね。そうそう、聞いた話では最近じゃおでんの自販機もあるって話です。
Hamburger vending machines. That can't be good quality food, though.
はあ？何それ？コーヒーの自動販売機みたいに器がポロッと出てきて押したボタンの具がボトボトっと落ちてくるわけ？気持ち悪い。
そういうのじゃないらしいですよ。おでんの缶詰になってるそうで、それがゴロンと出てくるらしいんです。
Canned hamburger. Definitely can't be of the best ingredients.
あ、ごめん。缶詰はパス。
缶詰。あ、もう子供じゃないでしょうに。
嫌なもんは嫌なの。うっさいな。もう何笑ってんの？
Kasai chuckled. He must have been trying to help me relax. He isn't usually so talkative.
私疲れちゃったよ。少し寝させてもらいます。これ、リクライニングどうやって倒すの？
そっちの左側の根元を探ってみてください。レバーみたいなのがありませんか？
うん、あったあった。よっこらしょっと。
Kasai laughed again.
何か面白いこと私した？
いえいえ、よっこらしょなんていう若くない言葉遣いがどことなくミオンさんに似ておられたもので。
Well, obviously. Mion and I are identical twins. We're perfect copies of each other. Physically, maybe. When I react to something, so will Mion. When Mion reacts to something in a certain situation, I'll react the same way. Yeah, I don't believe you.
お姉は元気？
多分元気かと。私も親族会議の席に親父さんをお連れするときに少しすれ違う程度ですし。
そっか。お姉はもう実家じゃないんだったね。Hinamizawaのばあさんのとこだっけ？
シオンさんが学園に入られるのと一緒の時期に園崎本家に移られました。
Right around that time, huh? I responded with disinterest, even though I was the one to ask about her in the first place. The main houses were Oryu. I still can't pronounce your name right, even after all this time. Oryu, the current leader of the Sonozaki family, lives. That's my grandma, who I call a hag. But when we use the phrase the main house, that usually means more than just a dwelling. What Kasai refers to is the same thing.
少しは変わった？
ミオンさんがですか？
そう。あのばあさんと朝から晩まで顔を合わせてりゃ少しは変わるでしょ。
Kasai chuckled yet again. He knows I hate my grandma.
私が見る限り変わったようには感じません。シオンさんの知っているミオンさんのままですよ。
私はどう？私は変わった？
いいえ、全然。
So, you've always deep down had the potential to be an axe-crazy serial killer? Good to know, I guess. So I responded with a smirk. I haven't seen him for a while, though. It's not fun if he answers this quickly. I glared at him, and then he burst out laughing.
全然変わっておられませんよ。あれだけのお嬢様学校に入られたのに全く変わらないというのは驚くに値します。
チェー、好きなだけ笑ってろ。私は寝るよ、寝る。
後ろの席に毛布がありますよ。使ってください。
うん、ありがとう。
I grabbed a blanket and rolled up in it. You know, I'm kind of surprised that you managed to get basically one of your guardians to agree with you to help you basically break out of this school. I mean, didn't he object to this at any point? I grabbed the blanket and rolled up in it. I'm exhausted, but I can't go to sleep. It's strange. Or maybe not. I must be tired from the escape. It's just that I'm still feeling tense. So I have to declare it once again, if only to calm myself.
寝る。私は寝るよ。
はいはい、さっきからもう3回目です。
Maybe the third time will be the charm.
それとも私が許可しないと寝れないんですか？
今日のあんたは喋りすぎ。あんたが少し黙っててくんないと眠気も引っ込んじゃう。
You're the one that won't stop talking.
失礼しました、姫君。ではしばらく黙らせてもらいます。
This interaction with Kasai reminded me of the old peaceful days in Okinomiya. Well, I don't really know if I can call those days peaceful. We were in the middle of the dam protests back then, after all. We all united together, and now that I think about it, we pulled a lot of pretty dangerous stunts. If the authorities ever find out what I did, I'd never escape going to juvie. Well, at least half the people in Hinamizawa would be off to prison. We didn't think of them as criminal acts, though. It was a war. It might also have been a festival. A festival where every person in Hinamizawa joined together in protest. It was a struggle, but it was also fun. It was fun to throw stones at the SWAT team with everybody. I'm not sure if the SWAT team felt the same way. We hid ourselves in somebody's home when they chased after us. We'd even go crowd around the police station, demanding the release of our arrested comrades. When we snuck into the construction site and sabotaged it, it felt more like we were playing at war than conducting one. Did you also put sugar cubes into the construction equipment like your sis? I got so excited back then. I felt united with my fellow members, even though they were strangers to me, and that memory warms my heart. Yes, the way it felt back then was like helping everyone to carry a sacred palanquin through the village, getting all sweaty and exhausted together. Until we all collapsed face first on the ground, and shared our excitement and cheers with unfamiliar faces over tea. I was just a kid back then. I remember accompanying young men who worked for my dad out in the village to do various bad things. I was arrested a few times. It didn't feel any different, though, than when I was called to the teacher's office for forgetting my homework. The other villagers were furious about the dam project, but for those of us who were kids at the time, it was a pretty fun memory. All that came to a sudden end a few years ago. It wasn't only the power of the protest that ended the dam construction project. It was the kidnapping incident, right? The Sonozaki family in my dad's organization had worked secretly in the shadows. This is top secret information in the Sonozaki family, but it's said that they may or may not have kidnapped the Minister of Construction's grandson. Well, at least I'm glad I'm getting my order of events right, in order to blackmail him. The grandson was found a few days after the abduction. He was found in the mountains of Yaguchi. He didn't simply disappear, and he wasn't demoned away. That means some kind of deal was made secretly. A year after that, the dam construction plan was halted indefinitely, thus bringing Rika's prediction to fruition. The police suspected the villagers' involvement and investigated, but they couldn't find any leads. The villagers never betrayed each other. They'd do anything to protect their fellow man. They fabricated fake alibis and fake evidence. It was easy to deceive the police. Gah! The car suddenly shook, snapping me out of it. I must have run over a bump or something. I suddenly realized my expression was a very happy one for some reason. Well, you were reminiscing about happy memories for you, so I think it would stand to reason that your facial muscles would form up to make a smile. Ah. I must be looking forward to going home.
Shion-san, 起きてますか?
何?
お帰りですが、沖宮でよろしいですよね?
他にどこに帰んのよ?
I answered straightforwardly with a frown. Kusai, then, also chose to reply straightforwardly.
シオンさんを全寮制の学園に入学させる決定は、園崎本家当主が下したものです。
Ah, so Oryu put you in there, huh?
シオンさんはその学園を抜け出した。
Yeah, if that's the case, she's definitely not going to be happy. Oh boy.
どういうことかお分かりですね。
I understand the situation she's in perfectly. But really though, do you understand Shion?
ばあさんの決めた学校が私に合わなかったってだけでしょ。
I don't think she'll care, Shion.
シオンさん。
わーってるって。うっさいな。
I don't think we should shut up about this, Shion. As the head of the Sonozaki family, the hag's decisions are absolute. They're nothing like, say, the 3-second rule. Worse, the decision to confine me to an academy far away from the Sonozaki family was made before I was even born. All because you were born a twin, right? How that just kind of threw a wrench in the whole inheritance stuff in the Sonozaki family. Shion was the name they gave me. My sister Mion has a character that means demon in her name. That was to signify that she's the successor of demons. In other words, she would be the successor to the Sonozaki family, and it's a demonic bloodline. My name, Shion, has a character that means temple in it. This means that I was destined to take the veil and be confined in a temple. Thinking of that reminds me how much I hate this name of mine. For starters, the person known as Shion is an abominable being to the Sonozaki family. Really? Well, why am I asking that? I think I already know why. It's because 2 heirs. Because it meant the family had 2 heirs. Yep. I don't have to cite the countless historical examples to explain. It's easy to imagine how that could prove troublesome for succession. According to our long-held family traditions, one of the twins was to be strangled to death right after birth. Yeah, it's pretty damn dark. Unbelievable, isn't it? What that means is that I had to be grateful just to be alive and breathing to this day. I heard the hag actually put her hands around my neck right after I was born. Damn. I don't know what exchange took place in that moment. Maybe some brave relative of mine managed to get her to stop. Or maybe she was in an extremely good mood that day. Don't try to strangle me. We're twins. There are no apparent differences between us. But the first one out of my mom's stomach was named Mion, and the second one drew the short straw and got named Shion. Everyone else was desperate to tell us apart, but we sisters just found that awfully ridiculous. There wasn't any difference between us. No one could tell us apart, even if we only swapped hats. We wondered why all the grown-ups were trying to see the differences. Well, our fun as twins didn't last forever. One day, they created an undeniable, clear distinction between Mion and Shion. Mion went to the main Sonozaki house to live with the hag, and to learn how to become the successor. And I was to be confined at St. Lucia's. I have no objections to Sis's inheritance. I used to be jealous. But now I feel that having to learn about and follow the traditions would just make me feel tired. I didn't feel sorry for Mion. Wait a minute. So back in chapter 2, you were pretending to be Mion right when Keiichi and Reina confronted you, and you gave them that whole speech about, well, how as a successor of... Well, maybe it's because you were just really committed to your role and pretending to be Mion, so you were just, well, preparing a speech to coincide with her role as the successor in the family, so... Yeah, the reason why I was confused for a sec was because I was thinking, well... If you didn't actually care about this stuff, why that long speech? But then that's when I realized, well, you were pretending to be Mion at the time, so... yeah. I even feel sorry for Mion. So I'm not going to be a threat to the family even if I'm back in Okinomiya. But the hag doesn't seem to think that way. She thinks of me as some kind of evil omen. Well, considering that you are apparently the culprit for Chapter 2, she's not wrong, is she? That's why she wanted to keep me away from her. That doesn't matter to me. I don't want to see her face either. I don't care if she doesn't allow me to enter Hinamizawa. She can charge me 10,000 yen per step I take there. But I want her to let me live in Okinomiya, where I grew up. When I was little, I was in Hinamizawa, but I don't remember it much, and I'm not very attached to it. I do have good memories of my elementary school days in Okinomiya. The town isn't very sophisticated, but I kind of like it there.
沖宮の町へ帰れば親族の誰かの目に触れることになります。やがては必ず本家の知るところになります。
ばあさんの耳に入ったらどうなるかってこと？
I think you should be worried too.
まあそりゃやばいことにはなるかもね。
お分かりならいいんですがね。
Well, you could always try harboring a disguise.
なーに、カサイ。
Wear disguise, excuse me.
あんた今から私に引き返してあそこへ戻れって言ってるわけ？
まさか。そんなことは言いませんよ。私が言いたいのは、
相応の覚悟はあるんだろうなってことでしょ。
口先だけでなく本当に理解してるんならいいんですがね。
まあそうだろうね。万が一の時は脱走の手伝いをした葛西も責任は免れないだろうしね。
Yeah, I guess I should have thought that too.
葛西も小指に未練があるなら今のうちに小指にいっぱいキスをしておいた方がいいんじゃない？
Oh shit, that's right, Yakuza. Oh fuck. Oh man, you poor bastard.
その時はシオンさんもすまきにされて鬼ヶ淵沼に放り込まれるくらいの覚悟をしてくださいよ。ああ、あるいは本家離れの秘密部屋送りかも。
I heard there's a big torture room in the main Sonozaki house. I've never seen it though. I heard they used to torture and kill the enemies of the village there. It's just awful, really. I hope I don't end up as a victim of that place. Well, if it's any consolation, apparently you don't.
はいはい。
Mion, on the other hand.
ま、なんとかなるって。
つくづくシオンさんは姉さんに似ている。その出たとこ勝負的なところが特にです。
そりゃ似るでしょ。実際の母親だもん。
Excuse me. My mom and dad will be furious if they find out about my escape. I'm more afraid of them than of the hag. I don't want to go into the details, but my dad is part of the Yakuza. He's in charge of the organization which covers the Shishibone area. He's in a very important position. So is Kasai here. He's an old friend of Dad. He really trusts him. Oh, so you are Yakuza too then? I don't know if this is true, but I heard Kasai used to be very aggressive, though he's gentle now. This old dog has become gentler in his old age. Now he just sits calmly on the porch, sleeping silent dreams about sheep, and the flesh of his enemies when he was young, and how tasty it was. I also heard he has tons of scars. He was in charge of a few large areas, but after he was injured badly in a fight, he retired. Now he's my dad's consultant, aka a drinking buddy. He was my caretaker in my childhood, and now I feel like he's my butler. At first I thought my dad asked him to supervise me, so I hated him. But in time, I started to feel like he was on my side. This is just a hunch. But I think Kasai used to be in love with my mom. Oh, love triangles, huh? My dad, mom, and Kasai were in a love triangle. But my dad took the lead in the end. Poor Kasai. Kasai couldn't leave my mom entirely, so he stayed around as my dad's friend. Oh, is this him? You have a more firm jawline than I was expecting. I can tell that from the way he acts. He's seen my mom in me. That's why he says I look like my mom every now and then. It kind of gave me the creeps at first, but he isn't a bad guy at all. He's actually pretty funny. I only found that out after I got used to him. So, when I thought about escaping, I naturally turned to him. I contacted him in an early stage of my plan and arranged to meet him today. You could call him a conspirator. It's not surprising he's worried about my return to Okinomiya. Considering the rules and traditions, cutting off his pinky finger isn't too far from reality. And yet, you dragged him into your escape plan anyway. You selfish little bitch. I'm half kidding, of course. I might be rolled up in a futon mat and thrown to the swamp for real, too. Well, if that happens, it will save everybody in Chapter 2 a shit ton of trouble. Even so, there's only one place for me to return. I'm going to Okinomiya, and nowhere else. That's my hometown. This might be a kind of homesickness, but I don't care what it looks like.
実際どうするつもりです。園崎一族の目はそこいら中にありますよ。
まあ最初はのんびり隠れながら過ごします。仮に姿を見られたってミオンだって言い張ればいいんだしね。
それから
Wait a minute. When I first met you in Chapter 2, you were working at Angel Mart. And last I checked, that was a restaurant owned by one of the Sonozaki family members, yes? So clearly at that point, the family had to have been aware that you escaped your school and got back into Okinomiya. So they just let you stay? After they found out that you got away?
で、ほとぼりが冷めてきたら私に近しい親類から徐々に打ち明けていく。私に味方になってくれる人たちだってそこそこにいるからね。
Well, if you got extended family members that'd be on your side, I guess then that would certainly help things a bit.
私も親父と大喧嘩した時、あちこちでいろんな人にかくまってもらったし。
なるほど。味方と既成事実を十分に作り上げてから最終的には園崎本家にもおめこぼしをもらおうというつもりですね。うまくいきますかどうか。
行くって。そもそも私を学園送りにする決定だって結構みんな反対してくれてたもんね。あれは私をやたらと嫌ったばあさんの猜疑心からの決定みたいなもんだったし。葛西もそう思うでしょ？
ええ、まあ 私もあの決定にはさすがにやりすぎとは思いました。
ばあさんはあれこれ余計なこと考えすぎて正常な思考なんかできなくなってんの。
Ouch.
あのダム戦争で神経張り詰めっぱなしだったから、まだその時の興奮が抜けきってないんじゃないかな。ったく。
I couldn't go to sleep after all, even though I was rolled up in a blanket. Even though I told Kasai to shut up, I kept talking to him. Just goes to show that you're the biggest problem in your world right now. In time, I got tired of talking, as I could feel the car run smoothly on the highway. Kasai spoke to me again.
シオンさん、ほら。
I was so tired that I ignored him. I wondered what he wanted me to look at, but I wasn't that interested. Yet I opened my eyes slightly and saw a sign quickly pass by. Kasai probably wanted me to see that sign. It had an illustration of azaleas around the letters that said, "Welcome to Shishibone City. My hometown is coming right up." Chapter 5, Meakashi. So I guess we're just being given a list of credits of our main cast here. And supporting cast. That opening, though. New tips unlocked. The notebook's beginning. Okay, so we've already gone through first chapter of chapter 5. Let's go through the tip. June 1982. Satoshi Hojo disappeared several days after the Watanagashi festival. There were 3 possible reasons for his disappearance. One possibility is that it was an accident. Dead bodies sometimes end up in irrigation channels a few months after hit-and-run incidents. But since the police did a thorough search of the area and hadn't found his body, this possibility seems small. The second possibility is a self-motivated disappearance. Satoshi-kun has been living in dire circumstances. His close friends actually heard him imply he might run away. The police thought he skipped town after killing his aunt. That seemed plausible considering that aspect. But the police arrested another person for the murder, the deviant. So this hypothesis must also be considered false. The same deviant who died of very mysterious circumstances shortly after being arrested, I might add. The last possibility is that he was involved in the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's also called the Curse of Urishiro-sama. He fell victim to it and disappeared. Well, we know that can't necessarily be the... Well, I don't think it's necessarily the case that he was involved. Unless Urishiro-sama's occult power is actually verified, this curse must be the act of humans. Won't get any argument from me on that. It's only natural to assume that Satoshi-kun was made to disappear by someone's will. So the question is, whose? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The possibilities are quite limited. Well, that's to my benefit, though, because if I can figure out what all those possibilities are, then that will at least help me narrow down the list of suspects. The culprit is either a member of the Sonozaki family, a member of the three families, or one of their many relatives. What if it's some third party that may or may not be directly related to these families? The police can assume that easily. I need to think beyond that. Who did it? How did it happen? And why did it have to be done? Why did Satoshi-kun fall victim? What was the motive? Who gave out that order? Who actually did it? The mastermind, the culprit, and the truth. All are in reach of my grasp. Maybe I'll find them right behind my back. But even so, I can't reach everywhere. There are parts of my back I have to make an effort to reach, clenching my teeth and cracking my joints so that the tips of my fingers can barely touch them. The truth is hidden in places like those. I'm writing this because I need to organize my thoughts and memories. Nobody will read it other than myself. Who is writing this? But if somebody does, that means that either I threw these notes away because I no longer needed them, or I fell victim to the curse of Urishiro-sama in the middle of my attempt to solve the mystery. If that's the case, then... But, wait, no. You can't be one of the victims, because Satoshi and his aunt were the victims of the last year before the present, before the events of the question arcs all start, with the exception of 4. So maybe you were killed not because of the curse, but maybe because you were a thorn in somebody's side. If it was the former, that's okay. But if it was the latter, please, I want you to help me. Please help this powerless young girl. Wait a minute. Rika, are you writing this? This must be Rika's notebook. So, I guess we're getting some of you, we're getting some of your notes on all this, huh? Well, I think that's to my benefit, though, because if you are stuck in a loop, like I think you are, then you would be the one person I could rely on the most here to get some reliable clues on who's involved with what and what I may be, and then I could probably figure some things out from there, based on what I see. So really, you're my best ally in this, Rika. So, we're back in Okinomiya, and we're playing as Shion. And if she's indeed the culprit of Chapter 2, then, well, this by itself certainly does answer a lot of questions that come to the top of my head when it comes to what exactly happened in Chapter 2. Shion played a really complex and deceptive game with me back in Chapter 2. But what I want to know is, why did she do it? Why did she go on her murder spree? What's her reason? Why pretend to be Mion at points? Why did she in particular target all the people that she ended up killing? Oryu, I think I can kind of understand. Because, well, she clearly has a lot of animosity towards her, and vice versa. And you don't seem to harbor any ill will towards Mion that I'm seeing so far, so I don't know. I think I need to see more of you throughout this whole thing here in order to get a better idea of what your feelings are towards everybody, frankly, that you went after. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and cut things off here, and we can save more of this investigation that I want to do into you for the next time. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 5. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.